notes?
Yes,
I'll do it.
Essentially, the Tom Show is based on the characters that came in the bar, people who had character, who were characters, and certainly over the 30 years, you had many different generations of characters, but there's some have stood the test of time that actually been with me for 35 years.
You want to get that Jersey accent, you definitely want that Jersey accent.
My name is Tom Blake. The Lillian's in Gainesville is the oldest bar in town, and it's sort of the equivalent of the Cheers bar, and so it's been a kind of bar where you have lots of relationships formed over the years, and I think that's part of the reason why Tom and the town have become somewhat synonymous. Well, you know, I don't think anyone sets out to become a bartender. And you just wind up, certainly as a performance person, bartending is a great job because you perform. You know, every day is a performance. If you take it as performance art, especially the happy hour show, you have a greater quality of succeeding because people come for the show.
Here's to everybody and everything that doesn't suck.
So when someone becomes a regular, and the basis of a great happy hour is having a core of great regulars. You know, as everyone knows very well, buying a drink in a bar is a lot more expensive than buying a beer at home. So when you come in, what you're coming in for is that performance art that goes along with the drink. Well, you know, essentially what happens when you take over a happy hour, the major thing you can draw people to come to an establishment is the atmosphere you create. You know, there's two things in the bar world. There's what they call in French the mise en scène, which is, of course, the setting of the bar, the dramatic setup. And then you have the ambiance, which most people say, what does that mean? And ambiance essentially means the juice that makes the show happen. And that's the only thing you can add to the show is your ambiance. I think the trait that I possess as a bartender is a certain, consistent energy. You know, when people came into Lillian's, you know, you were performing, you're on stage. So every day you came in, no matter what was happening, for those 6 hours, you were on stage performing. So you were up and into what was going on. When people came in, it was always to have a very enthusiastic, warm greeting. That's a crucial aspect of bartending. When someone walks in, hey man, good to see you. Hey girl, good to see you. That was always important. One of the things as a bartender you realize that the connection you form with people is realizing that everyone has a story to tell. So when you realize that, you draw that out of people, and everyone likes to be considered unique. Everyone likes to be considered to be that person. So my career as a bartender certainly flourished because I had that skill to draw people out. The bartender's biggest job at happy hour is arranging seating. You want people who are compatible sitting by each other. You don't want someone who's loud and obnoxious sitting next to Dr. Dirt, who will then turn to them and say, you're bothering me, you've got to leave. And then they give you the look like, who's this guy saying? You realize, oops, that's on me. I shouldn't have the loud, squeaky girl sitting next to Dr. Dirt at that time. So arranging those relationships is important, and I think that's probably a skill you develop over time. But as I tell the young bartenders, that's a crucial one.